right, let's go. Welcome to the Hype Pod, where we have real conversations on business, tech, innovation, and culture trends, all from a faith-filled perspective. Today, we're talking with Pastor Bobby Johnson. He's a product leader and AI ML strategist. He's also the lead pastor of Vive Church Oakland, a husband and a father. Pastor Bobby, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's go, Bobby.
I am so excited to be here.
Yeah, and I'm excited to have Pastor Adam back.
I'm back, guys.
Co-host extraordinaire.
Yep. Had a summer and had a little time off from the podcast and missed you guys.
Yeah, it must have been a sad summer, huh?
You know, it wasn't a sad summer at all. It was a great summer.
Where'd you go?
I went all over. Actually, it was a bit of a staycation, to be honest with you. Most of it was staycation. Had my dad come in town for 10 days, and then we had some friends of ours from Australia who were actually in our wedding. 23 years ago, they were in our wedding. They came over with their family. We had a blast, just shooting guns and just doing American things.
Yeah.
And then we headed off to Italy to be with our Italians, Germany, and now we're back. And it was such a pleasant surprise to get back, Pastor Bobby, and see Arun, our beloved Arun, serving on team again.
I'm back on team. I'm learning I'm shadowing the film team. So I've been in front of the camera for a little bit, but I'm shadowing the film team, edit team.
Wow, you want to be just a one-man show, don't you?
I just want to, yeah. I just need to make myself look better. I was like, how do I edit this so I sound smart?
So good. No. How was your summer?
Summer's been good. I feel like crypto's kind of going off, so everything is.
Oh, so it hasn't been relaxed.
It hasn't been, yeah. I feel like crypto bull cycles are you're just all
They're just
in.
non-stop.
Yeah.
There's no rest.
You wait. It's like 3 years of hibernation. You're waiting. You're figuring it out, and then you have this like.
Because there's no market
cycle.
off, right? It's all night, all day.
Oh yeah, that's the scary part. Like good things can happen, but then you go to sleep, and then it all just wipes off the table immediately. Yeah.
Exactly.
And then you go through these cycles of like joy, despair. Yeah.
Yes.
So, but
doesn't sound healthy at all.
Yeah. I'm in a good mental state, guys. Don't worry. But you were telling us a little bit of Italian. I feel like you should give for our Italian listeners out there.
Capisco l'italiano. It means I understand a little Italian. Capisco un po' l'italiano and parlo un po' l'italiano. See, I'm obviously still learning.
But it's still good.
I fumble my way through.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know any Italian.
To Italians, I sound like an immigrant, but I'm fumbling my way through, and I can get enough to go to Il Bagno, and I can find Via Veneto, I can find Piazza San Marco, I can find where I need to go.
Yeah.
I can ask for directions. I can speak proper to elder people. I can speak casual to peers and younger people enough to survive.
Yeah.
And guys, guess what? Leave me in Italy, I'll be fine.
Yeah. I feel like now, actually, on this topic, we have AI now. You don't even have to learn it. You could just use tech and then just auto-translate.
It's not at the pace
where
I need it to be.
Yeah.
It's still a bit clunky.
Yeah.
You know what you can do now on the Tesla? You've got a Grok button. And so you can actually say, hey, Grok, teach me Italian as I drive. But I got into a debate with Grok because Grok was actually saying the word wrong in Italian. Right, so in Italian, how are you? It's come stai. But Grok was trying to teach me. It would say come stai.
Yeah.
And I'm like, sorry, Grok, you have it wrong. It's come stai.
Yeah.
And then Grok says, ha, good try.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, yo, no, this is be in learner mode now. But it wouldn't learn.
That's good that Grok fought back. Usually AI, my issue with AI is if I say, oh, this might be wrong, they always agree with me. Yeah, they always just like, listen, Grok doesn't. That's good. They
Grok's
fight
arrogant.
back.
But I feel like that there's going to be a group of people who are going to learn languages, and it's going to have almost like an AI accent to it.
That's what I'm worried about. Like that's going to be like this weird AI learned bots that are humans learning from Grok. This is your world though, AI.
It is.
Tell us a little bit about it. Introduce yourself for the people that don't know you.
Yeah. So a lot of what I've been doing in the last few years has been in product management and solution ownership over AI projects and products, kind of digging into how to utilize AI in product, process, and to scale up people. So I had a season where I was laid off, and I was like, oh, okay, I need to figure something out. This is the hot thing. So kind of jumped into product management and AI course, and then just started grabbing a hold of a lot of the tools that are available. So started really early in ChatGPT and have just been kind of riding the AI wave, I think, mostly.
like that, riding
That's
the AI
cool.
wave.
Yeah, I would love to know how your relationship started, because we've been on a string of pastors at Vive Church, and they all have really cool, interesting stories. So I was just wondering,
Okay.
how you guys met.
Stories about what?
No, they have interesting like backgrounds and careers and doing
backgrounds,
really
yeah,
cool
yeah.
stuff outside of just being a
Yeah.
pastor. So I'm just
Yeah.
curious, how did that relationship form? Yeah.
Did I
Yeah.
meet Pastor Bobby?
Yeah.
Okay, so Pastor Bobby and Pastor Bobby just came into my world, by the way. Can I just say that? He entered into my world. This was my world. He's entering into it. But he's in Oakland, via Oakland. No, to be honest with you, just getting to know Pastor Bobby and Abby has been one of those realizations that God gives you gifts that are hidden in the church, and then all of a sudden you realize, how long you been here? What? You're anointed, you're called, you're gifted, and really they came up through the Oakland campus. Oakland was your first campus, right? Yeah, at Oakland, and really at that season, Pastor Brittany was running Oakland. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Then we'd moved her to San Francisco, which had let a gap, and these guys were pretty much the two ICs. They were running everything, and I think that was what helped Pastor Brittany go. She's like, I'm not even running anything here. These guys are, and so they stepped up, and from there it just went from strength to strength, and it has become, I would say, I actually heard your wife, Pastor Abby, preach before I'd heard you preach. And she'd preach one time at a Vive Girl event. It was like a 5-minute
Like
thing.
a 5x5, yeah.
Yeah. It blew my socks off. I was like, oh my gosh, this girl's got authority. This girl has got fire. She was like, I literally all night I'm saying, Kara, she's amazing.
Yeah.
She's like this dynamic preacher. Where on earth has she come from? And then it was probably about maybe even 6 months later than I'd heard Bobby preach, and I was like, oh my gosh, this whole couple. And so it's no surprise to me that God's been using them so instrumentally in Oakland.
Amazing.
No, it's honestly been such a blessing. And I think coming into Vive, initially, I tell a lot of people, I'm sure I've told you this as well, but when we first came in, it was kind of like the cool church, and I was like, this is
It still is.
It absolutely is. But when we first came, I was like, this church is too young. It's too cool for us. I feel like we need to figure out something else. But then we heard the word. At that time, you were broadcasting, and we heard it, and we were like, no, God has us here for a reason. And then I think it was after that I started to realize that there were so many pastors that were not just pastoring, but also tied into tech, which is kind of what I moved out here for, was to get into the Bay Area, Silicon Valley, be in tech, and didn't really fully know what that meant when I moved from Ohio out here to do it. But the model of what it looks like to be a pastor, an entrepreneur in tech, and like kind of that whole all-encompassing kind of world was something that I didn't think I had never seen modeled. So I've been blessed to even be able to see all of that kind of all come together, and to now be a part of that.
And tell them, maybe like give a bit of background, like how you and Abby met, where you were, and then why Oakland?
Yes, so I think for us, I'm from Ohio. I grew up, born and raised in Ohio. Abby is from like all over the world. She was born in Belgium, grew up in Kenya, but her parents are from India. So she's got a way cooler story.
I didn't know any of that, by the way.
But we met in college in Ohio. So I literally came like half an hour down the road to meet her, and she came halfway around the world to meet me, is what I tell people.
It's nice.
And so
Sounds like your relationship.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
So in college, my main focus was in graphic design and computer animation. I did 3D animation, wanted to make video games.
And classic.
And then pivoted to basically whatever, like I said, kind of was the main thing. So training and development was a big thing. So I got my master's in that, learned how to train people. Never got back to video games. Still hoping. I still think there's something there.
It's in my heart too. We'll figure it out. We'll talk after this. Yeah.
But I was the director of training for a few years, really for a couple years, before I started realizing like training people was helpful in one capacity, but building things that actually helped walk people through their processes actually was a more effective way, which is kind of tied to what I was doing, which in my master. So we started to build and started to get more into like the product side of things, how we would build tools that help people to walk through these things rather than trying to give them 3 years of training. We can cut that down to 3 months if we just build in a system that helps them to walk through it. So I did that, got really excited about tech and wanting to get into product management, and said we want to move. We believe we're called to move to California. We moved to California, and we're in the East Bay, and saw Vive Church and was like, we're going to go and check it out. But the closest one to us was Oakland.
Yeah.
And so that was the one that we went to, and that's where we stuck.
Why did you pick the East Bay?
Because we did not know that, we didn't know nothing about California.
Yeah.
We actually had some family that lived out there, and also the further east you go, the cheaper the houses are. So
got you.
in my Midwestern mindset, I was like, we need to buy a house. But when we moved to California, it was kind of like, well, wait, house.
Yeah, how does that even
happen? So we were way out, probably an hour from Oakland, and maybe 2 hours from here.
Was there a culture shock coming from Ohio to California?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that there was a culture shock in the way that people interacted. Things are way faster as well in the Bay Area. And then, back home, I was kind of the tech guy. And so anything that was tech related, fixing a computer, I was the guy. They were just like, Bobby will figure it out. Then I came out here, and then they're like, oh, well, people are like, what do you do?
Yeah, your barista has more tech.
You're kind of like, oh, I'm a PM. Or are you a product manager, or a program manager, or a project manager? Are you a TPM? Are you and I was like, I don't know. I do the thing. I'm the tech guy. And it's just like, no, there's so many levels of tech to the world. And so I got an opportunity to really just kind of dig into like, okay, where is my niche at, and what's the main thing right now? So that's been, when I got to the point where I started consulting. I was doing consulting kind of independently. Then I started working for a consulting company, which is where I started to build out this solution ownership thought process and mindset. So now I still kind of do all those things: project management, product management, TPM, but now it's
You've added in solutions.
I'm just the guy.
So you just solve problems.
That is the goal.
So one of the things that you do now is that you are helping consult to businesses how to integrate AI into their kind of software lifecycle, right? Tell us a little bit more about where you were in the AI cycle when that started. Were you there when ChatGPT first dropped, and that was like the big boom, right, for like companies to kind of start integrating this? From there, how have you seen like the landscape shift, and where is it today in your mind?
Yeah, I think for me, I've always been interested, like even growing up, I think the big thing for me was, like I said, video games, and then like choose your own adventure books, like being able to like interact with something, but like you get to control kind of what is done, how it's moving, the story, stuff like that. And so like that's always been kind of a part of what I've done in my career, is try to build things that allow you to interact with it differently. So when I saw the ChatGPT kind of boom, I was like, this is amazing. Like I want to do everything in this tool. And I loved what early on when the Hype Pod first started, there was an episode that was kind of talking about like ChatGPT. And one of the things that was said was, AI kind of, it's starting to get to a point where not knowing doesn't become an excuse anymore. I think for me, as I've grown in it, started to use a lot more of the tools, started to talk to more businesses, more people who are trying to understand like the landscape. What I'm really starting to understand is that now it's almost like it's gone from not knowing not being an excuse to not doing not being an excuse, because now there are like walls, like programming walls that I would hit, when I was trying to build something, or, artistic walls that I would hit. Now, with the assistance of this technology, you're able to actually get beyond some of those limitations. With agentic systems, you're able to see it actually do and accomplish things on your behalf. And so your ability to do things and to create and to even like develop things has gotten a lot farther. So it's not just about knowledge anymore, as much as now it's moving towards being able to actually actively build and do and create. So I've loved kind of the progression of that, because now I'm even going back to like things I wrote down in notebooks, ideas that were kind of like, okay, I hit my wall. Now being able to go back and start to see, actually this could be possible now, or actually this could be built now, that I have the ability to do it through some of these different tools.
So you've got now this amazing tool, right, where what you thought wasn't possible or even probable is now more than possible.
Yeah.
Think about like this idea of AI, and I'm trying to put like a godly spin on this, because thinking through, you're a pastor, you're working hand in hand every day with AI. Something that kind of shocked me the other day is this idea of SI, which is the next iteration of AI, which is superintelligence. That's what people are actually freaked out about, because this isn't just assistance or artificial intelligence that's there to make our life efficient. It's thinking for us.
Yeah.
So what, in your mind, looking at what you're doing as looking at AI as an enhancement, do you see a threat where all of a sudden we're getting thought for, and that is independence of thought is not there anymore?
Yeah, I think that, yes, but I think that that's based in where your what your foundation is. If you, it's the same thing with ChatGPT. If you ask it to write an essay for you, it's going to write the essay. It's going to also lack your personality. It's going to lack your perspective. It's going to lack your experience. Whereas if you put one of the big kind of buzzwords right now is context engineering, even more so than prompt engineering, where you're bringing in enough context for the AI to be able to give you the outputs that you're looking for. I think that you'll always need context from the human, and that's what we teach people when we're talking.
But do you think that there's a point where you're giving prompts to AI where SI gives you prompts?
Oh, that's potentially, yeah, that's true. I could see that, but I think it's probably like, I don't really like to do what I don't like to do. So,
right. So you've still got a willpower. You still have resistance.
I think that's my goal would be to, to still, like, there's a wall. There's a limit.
Right now you might go, hey, run me an investment plan, but is there a point where SI says, hey, you should invest in this stock? Okay. You should ask this girl out. Okay. I know that sounds extreme, but
for sure.
becoming that dependent.
I think people are already getting there. I think before you get to SI, people are using ChatGPT for that. So even thinking through how is this technology now starting to shape the way that people think, the way that people learn languages, the way that people speak, like all of those things now I think are starting to come together, and now we have to be that much more. I think have that much more of a steadfast foundation in what we understand, what we believe, what we teach even our kids. Like, my kids love having chats with ChatGPT, but the moment that my daughter was like, "Oh, I love you, ChatGPT," I was like, "No."
I'm glad you got there, because that's kind of like where I'm going to, like in your role as a pastor, right? You're in the thick of AI. You're also parenting, and you got to coach. Okay, and now you're hearing your kids interact with AI at a whole new level of dependence. I mean, you've got willpower because you grew up without this, and you've got this healthy barrier. But is AI and soon to be SI so normal for them that there is almost this codependence that becomes manipulative?
I want to share something. Actually, I wish I had the study with me, but MIT did this study on the human brain when they use ChatGPT versus when they don't. And I think you lose some of that critical thinking, because it's right when you get to this point where, I have a problem I need to solve. Before this, it was like, okay, now I need to process, what are the steps taken that I need to get there? Now it's, before even getting to that point, I don't even think about it. I'm just going to ask it immediately. So now you're getting to that point where we just lose a little bit of that critical thinking, and it gets to what you're saying. Now when you lose critical thinking, you kind of lose your willpower a little bit, because whatever ChatGPT says, okay, that's probably the answer. I'm just going to go with that.
No, I have the same concern even with scriptures, because it's so easy for me to just ask Rock, hey, where's that scripture that talks about this? Instead, before I had to think through my memory verses, and I had to think through where I saw it in my Bible, but now am I becoming more spiritually dull because I'm relying on Grok, to just answer it for me, and where does that serve me, or where is that not going to serve me?
I would love to know the line for you guys.
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, my line is, I guess personally, I don't read Bible verses from ChatGPT or whatever.
Just in case it's not authentic?
Just in case it changes
they
a word
change
or
something.
Or I don't know.
That's
so
true.
I think I'll prompt it to maybe break down the terminology or the Greek translation, maybe ask for historical context. ask what, I'm thinking about this this thought process or this theme. Give me some verses, and even still going back to like, here's some verses that I'm thinking about off the top of my head, even if I can't remember exactly where they are, and have it and actually have prompted it to not give me the verse, just the reference, so that I can go to my Bible and actually look at it. Because to me, I still feel like it doesn't feel like I'm reading the Bible when I'm there. So to me, that's just my personal line. When it comes to things like preparing a message, it always has to start with like prayer. What is the Holy Spirit saying? Like, what do the people need to hear? What is the Holy Spirit saying that people need to hear, before I then say, okay, I got my concept. I kind of understand where I'm headed. Let me fill it out with some of these gaps. That's when I'll step into a ChatGPT or Perplexity or something like that to kind of just say like I'm trying to build some context around this. Where are some areas that I can do that? But I think it's still creating that separation line between creativity, critical thinking, the Holy Spirit, being able to like keep that on this side, and then saying, okay, now I have something, and now we're going to pull it into context.
So essentially, you're using it as a much more intelligent search engine and assistant. I guess I'm just still stuck in the forecasting.
Where's your line at current? Because we've talked about AI, using it. You've kind of been, like, I do love to use AI, but where is it when it comes to like your work, like your, content generation?
Most of the time I've been using it on commutes, drives, asking questions, running analytics, like, business models, different things like that, and just having conversation, which is, for me, sometimes better than listening to a podcast, because I actually have to engage my mind in a conversation. I've been on this journey, obviously, because I've seen my mum on a digression of Alzheimer's, and so for me, using your mind as a muscle, and like you'd go and lift weights every day, are you thinking? But like, as you said, so much thinking is done for us. GPS everywhere. You don't even have to come up with the 10 questions. You just give it one that gives you the 10 answer. So I always try and challenge my mind. I try and not use GPS. I try and do so many things. But as I've been playing it out, I'm like, this is interesting. And I saw this, I think it was the Nobel Peace Prize was given to the grandfather of AI, or whoever his name is. And he has major concerns. When this would be a great tool for society if we all work together, but now it's a race, and it's pegging nation against nation, and there's this, company against company, and it's like become this really scary thing that everyone stopped waving the flag of concern.
Yeah, I would love to get to this, like see if I can relate in my field versus how you guys use it in your field. So there's a big push internally at like our company, within our team, and probably a lot of engineering companies, which you've seen because you consult for, where it's before it was like, people personally use this for like small things, but the tools are getting so good where it's like, how do we really fully integrate this where we use it properly, but we don't sacrifice in any way? Kind of like what you're thinking with the critical thinking. So internally for us, the way we're doing it and we're thinking about it is that we should use this to generate code for us, but really where now the importance or the reliance is on people reviewing code. So your expertise still needs to be there, because we shouldn't be like reducing the quality of our code base by just letting, ChatGPT or whatever it is generate code and then put it in. But like reviewers now have to be experts to be able to say, I'm going through this and this is actually there. And so I think it's like how you use it. For you guys, example, like if you could get somebody to do a lot of the writing for you, so generating the sermon script, but now it's your job to go and review it so that all the Bible verses are correct, all the connections are correct. Could that be now where it is? Because you should treat it almost like a junior level preacher, maybe.
Right.
Instead of like, oh, this is a senior level preacher where now, here, please give me all the answers. Here, go do the work for me. I'll review it, and now I'll be the one to quality control it.
Yeah, I think the difference for me, and I'd love to hear your thought on this, the difference between preparing a sermon and writing code is writing code's not fun. It's a necessary element to get to the end result. The writing of the sermon is the fun part of studying with God and getting your revelation first, right? And so I feel like that would definitely sound robotic. If it came, my wife, she has a funny story of this, because she got asked to do the baccalaureate for our girls, she was like, "Oh, I'd love to do the baccalaureate." Then she freaked out, like, "What is a baccalaureate?" And how do
I
you
was
write
going to
one?
ask. I have never heard this.
Yeah, and so she ChatGPT
Uh-huh.
a baccalaureate speech, and so she's done this, and she's come to me, "Hey, I've got this speech. I'm going to hear it." She said 4 lines. I said, "You ChatGPT that, didn't you?" She's like, "Yes." And she started like laughing,
Yeah.
but I'm like, "It sounds so AI."
Yeah.
That's what a sermon would sound to me, so
Yeah.
mechanical, because
Yeah.
it didn't come with that revelation
Yeah.
after you dig and that reward.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, curious what you think. Yeah.
No, I would say the same thing. I think going back to just context.
Yeah.
So even in a separate project that I'm working on, I've had this book idea for many years that I've kind of been just kind of chipping away at. My biggest problem has been the blank page syndrome. Like I have all of the plot, the storyline, all of the characters, all of these things, but getting it in front of me to be able to kind of explain like what I'm seeing. One of the things that it allowed me to be able to do is kind of build out like the first like pass at like a draft, but my ability to go in and like pick at it and be like, no, that's not what I want. This is not how I imagined it.
Got you.
It's kind of one way to go, but I've had a lot of context that got put into it first. So it's still a creative aspect. I think from preaching, it's still very much, to Pastor Adam's point, is being able to have revelation, be able to understand like what is needed in this moment. Because if you tell ChatGPT you want it to create a message on faith, it's going to do a great job of a generalized preach. But I have to know the context for what the people in Oakland or whoever I'm speaking to need. The context based on what we as a globe are also trying to make sure that people understand that Pastor Adam, is helping us to kind of shape as well. And I think that also just being able to glean what the Holy Spirit is saying and also gain revelation from my own time praying and reading, like all of that context would have to be put in place first. And you wouldn't be able to because a lot of people are comparing it to like a junior programmer. Yeah. But like a junior programmer or junior pastor, I guess, whatever you call it, wouldn't have that context, wouldn't have that level of reference and resource and experience to be able to bring exactly what you need. They would maybe come up with a great message on faith, but it wouldn't be as timely, it wouldn't be as focused, it wouldn't be as pointed. From the business perspective, the same way that people are kind of utilizing code, we're working with a team to do that. We're also working with their product teams to actually build out what product requirements look like. And we start that process with several hours worth of conversations, meetings, talking through what does this application look like? How are we building this thing out? What does it need to be able to do? Now, from there, I'm able to take transcripts, I'm able to take screenshots, I'm able to take all of this stuff, pull it into context, and make it, have AI help create a reference, like a requirements document, but then having another point, we call it human in the loop, where a human then comes through the people who are the subject matter experts, engineers, product, UI, all of these people still go through that document that was created to pinpoint if there's anything that needs to be changed. So you still need that, and we still try to add that in.
Yeah, you still need that now.
Yeah, you still need it. Well, yeah, you still need it now. Yeah. But I think that in order to stay relevant and in order to stay creative, you have to continue to keep that muscle, to build that muscle. So yeah.
Oh, so okay, I hear what you're saying. So you're saying the differentiator in an SI world is the humans that stay creative and actually create an edge above the superintelligence.
Yeah, because I think that what AI is able to do now is able to accelerate whatever experience you have currently. I think, and it's also, I think the other part is maybe right now it's only able to base its understanding based on what's already been done.
Based on your reality.
Based on, but also just based on history, right?
Yep.
So like if something hasn't been done yet, it's only going to be able to conceptualize what it's referencing. Yeah. Whereas the future, anything new still has to be referenced in some way from what's already been created. So I think that moving into the future, being able to create, collaborate, build things that haven't been done yet is still something that we have the ability to do.
Yes. Yeah. So the way I can see it going, and I don't want to play the fear monger.
No, please. I think I have a counter to this. Let's go. Yeah.
Because like right now, AI is built off whatever reality you feed it.
Yeah.
You could feed it a fake reality, and that's the context that it has.
Right.
You could feed it your real reality. There's context. The concern with SI is it shapes your reality. So it tells you, because it's very conversational, it's learning at a super intelligent pace, your likes, your tones, all those kinds of things. And before you know it, it's warning you, I wouldn't hang out with that person. I wouldn't trust that person. Like that. So it's now shaping your reality and the way you think by suggestions.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the way you think is suggestive.
Yeah.
If someone says, I'd really look out for Arun, the next time I see Arun, I'm going to be like, hey, Arun, like, because that suggestion framed my reality. Even if it was based in falsehood, I could still adapt that, right?
Yeah.
And that's the concern, that this superintelligence starts to shape our reality rather than it shaping its reality.
Especially if it's like a trusted, because
you earn a
take it more
relationship
from like
with
a
it, right?
relationship.
Yeah.
You have a trusted ally that's telling you this.
Yeah.
Then you're like, oh well, I don't know.
Especially if
about
it won a few favors and some good investments, smart business
Yeah, right.
opportunities, all that kind of stuff.
You start to build trust.
You could see how easily that relationship could be built.
So I want
here's
to,
your
So I want to paint this picture for you. So would you trust a chatbot right now for like medical advice? Like, would you go to it and say, "Here's my medical history," and then give me some advice now? Just curious.
Yeah, that's a good question, Bobby.
Well, I have some inside track information for that, but so one of the other things that I do, I work with Pastor Luke, who was on just a few episodes ago. I don't know how this works.
No, that's how it works.
Yeah.
Pretty much, we talk, he posts.
But we've really even just been having that conversation. You know, we had just put together some information around how like ChatGPT 5 is much faster and things like that. How does that compare? And I think that where we're trying to also make sure that we lead people is understanding that AI can't it can't help you get healed. It can't heal you in your even in your natural healing process. It can give you information and it can give you advice, but having a holistic approach to how you actually have someone who understands kind of the journey that you're on. So like, for example, like with Caringham, for example, it's more specifically geared towards towards cancer treatment. So the goal being, how do you want to bring in not just the AI ability to kind of collaborate and pull all the context and all the research and stuff like that in, but also being able to have the medical records, but also be able to have the human experience that actually is walking you through these things, is able to build in, what is it like having a doctor be able to give prescriptions and to do all of the other parts that help you to actually move through that health journey, I think is where kind of the difference is. If you just ask ChatGPT and give it some data, it's going to give you information, but it's not going to be able to help you actually walk that out in your life. And I think that that's where people start to get really confused, is when they start to look at it as their therapist or their doctor, rather than actually trusting humans to do
so
or their girlfriend.
Let me follow this up then with the next part, which is like a doctor, for example. The reason that you trust them is because they've passed their exams. Like they have like certification, licensing.
I've got a story about that.
Yeah, okay. Wait, do you want to go with the story first before I continue my question?
Probably.
Yeah, go for it.
So here's a story, right? So growing up, my doctor was Indian.
Okay.
Dr. Kaira.
I don't know.
Dr. Kaira. And funny story is one time we went with all my brothers and my mum, because my brother had to get something, and so he would usually sit across his desk and he'd have his little computer there, and you give the symptoms, my throat's sore, whatever it is. And so this day we're in his little office, and there's no seat, so there's a seat right next to his chair. I got and sat in that, and I realized as he's asking my brother symptoms, he's typing them into the computer, and it popped up a question. Are you feeling this? And he asked that question. And I'm like, this is a scam. Like, he's literally just reading prompts. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Right.
And then from there on, I realized the doctor is relying on software that's pre-programmed, that obviously they subscribe to, pay for, or whatever. So AI is just a much more enhanced version of that. So would I trust a AI bot doctor?
Yeah.
Absolutely, because I've been trusting it my whole life.
Right. So this is what I was saying, because now if they just pass those tests, right, the same exact test that you said you have to be board certified to be a doctor, okay, cool. If the AI models that you're using do the same exact thing and they have the same certification, let's say a lawyer, they passed the bar in California, now this bot is certified to be a lawyer. I feel like that's the world we're going to get into, where it's you have AI models that can pass a certain exam, which is similar to what we would do now. You would have a junior level doctor that is passed, and then you would kind of train it and grow. It would make some mistakes potentially, or human would make some mistakes, and then you would train it and it would grow and it would become better. And I think that's the world we're going to see with models, with like AI. We're not going to be scared that, hey, this thing is always going to be wrong. We're going to be like, oh, it's potentially going to get something wrong, but it'll learn and it'll get better.
Yeah,
and
I
then
think
we'll
one of the
start to use
gaps there is that with a say the bar or one of these exams, they already account for human reasoning. Okay, so they're not testing your human reasoning in that, they're testing legal codes and those kinds of things. So what you'd have to test AI for is what's already inbuilt in human nature from growing up. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so
that's what you're saying,
they're not starting from the same playing field. They could download legal code and come out with an even better test score, because they just it's like they're cheating with the book. You know what I mean? But what they don't have is ethics, human reasoning. Not that lawyers do, but you know what I'm saying.
I would trust an AI lawyer, but I would not trust an AI jury. I think
that's a
That's
great
good.
distinction, actually.
because I think that the reason that we choose juries is because people have a
Hopefully
human
they have that.
experience.
Yeah.
and I mean, besides them getting bought and all of that stuff, that can
Yeah,
happen.
yeah.
But like,
It does
but
happen,
the thought is
especially
like,
in Ohio. Yep.
I mean, in Ohio, you know, what can you do? But but no, I think that there's I think that because they have a human experience, they try to make sure that people have had at least a certain amount of life experience and not certain biases, things like that, in order to be able to judge fairly. Because ultimately, that's who makes the ultimate decision. So I think that's a
great distinction.
I think to me, that's
you want a lawyer that just knows the code,
Right.
can defend you with the smartest argument possible based on the law.
But wouldn't you also then want a jury that's, like you were saying, not biased? Technically, AI models should not be biased. So like they should be able to take all the input and provide the most unbiased opinion after that. I'm not saying they are, because like we've seen news about AI models being biased by their creators, but ideally in a perfect world, they shouldn't be biased. So you really do want a jury that's actually seeing all that information and not taking their own personal biases into that final decision.
Is it biases or empathies?
Either, right? Should law be, I don't know. That's actually a good point. Do you want your jury being empathetic, or should they just be?
Because a law could be this girl murdered her stepfather, but the realization was that the stepfather had been abusing this girl her whole life. You want the jury to have empathy to go, hey, there's actually a retaliation there after years of abuse.
Right.
Doesn't mean she's innocent, but doesn't also mean that she's that guilty.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But under law code, it's like, oh, you murdered.
Right.
So
But then
biases are actually a human experience.
Yeah, but it just seems like with biases, there's just so much error then in that case. Potential error. Yeah, like we should change. I mean, it's too hard to say. Everything shouldn't. Yeah. We shouldn't. I mean, everything can't be so objective. I mean, there's all obviously subjectivity here, but maybe we just need to, as AI is introduced, we'll just get more and more rules, and there'll be more and more hard coded how we should answer these kind of scenarios. So there's not a lot of gray area in this place where it's like this should be a law, right? Like if you are provoked for some reason to do it, then it's not murder, and then that should just be law.
Oh, okay. So you're saying
But
that build out this.
there are nuances to that.
Right.
You know, how much provoking needs to happen before. It's
Right, exactly.
And then people start to try to figure out that.
That little nuance to go, well, it's just enough, but not enough.
Next time you say that to me, I've not been provoked enough.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, okay, cool.
Tricky.
So it's tricky. Okay, let's not get in there because I don't even know
Sorry, I
how
think I took us down a...
No. Actually, because I was talking to Pastor Bobby about this, and I was like, how do we like encourage people to use AI, right? Like that's what you do. You're trying to encourage companies to use it. There's a lot of people out there that are listening to the podcast that are like, I want to start this business. I want to start, this. I have this idea, but I just don't know where to go. There are some risks to AI, but you can also use it for good.
Yep.
So let's maybe focus a little bit on how you can use these tools, and then set guardrails up so that you don't get, taken advantage of.
And are you using agents?
Using agents.
Can you explain that actually? Just
Yeah.
agentic AI now,
Sure.
The new world we're in.
Yeah, I think so. You have generative AI, which is like ChatGPT. Although now with this new iteration, it's kind of become more agentic. But Gen AI is really you prompting something and it's giving you some sort of output based on what its full understanding of like language is. Whereas agentic now starts to take that and put it into workflows. It's able to take reasoning into consideration, make decisions, and action on things like being able to go and you could ask it, I want you to book me a vacation, and depending on what context it has, it may know that you like Verona, and it may know that you like this type of food, and so it can put together
like an itinerary.
An itinerary, but being able to put together an itinerary that is based on its understanding of who you are. So the agent and maybe multiple agents are going out. Maybe one is doing research. Maybe one is kind of trying to cater understanding the context of the person that is doing this for. There's many different parts to, that are kind of all coming together to then present it in a way that makes the most sense. So I think it's less about just prompting something and having it create based on language. Now it's starting to learn to a certain extent.
And I want to just add to this. And the reason this is so important is because he's mentioned it a few times, but context window. So it's context is how much of the world can your AI model see in that environment in which you're asking the question. Right. It can't see everything because it's very expensive. Right. But if you can now create agents, so it's let's think of a team at church. You have your HR team, not church, but a business. You have HR, you have finance, you have engineering, but you have agents now in code that manage each of these individual contexts. So now it's saying, listen, I want to build this idea, but I need to go through all of it. I don't want one agent focusing on the entire picture. It's now you break it down into sub problems. So now it can focus on the context just for that problem. So now I'm just focusing on the building of the product, but now I'll kick it over to finance to figure out, what is the tokenomics or what is the economic value of this. And so now you can do more where now they share context with each other instead of having to manage the entire context all in one.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
It does make sense.
Yeah. So I think that is the importance and the revolution of what agentic AI is giving you. So now you can do more in AI, which is really, really cool. Yeah.
So it works as a true agent, a true assistant in tasks.
Yeah. And it'll spawn sub-agents. So now
it'll spawn sub-agents.
Yeah. So now you basically have this agent that has its own army to go.
Definitely an alien. An army of agents.
An army of agents. And so this is what it's doing. Yeah.
So it sounds very matrixy with agents in here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That just hit
right
then.
Yeah.
I did not
because those agents would spawn.
I've been talking about AI agents for months, and this is the first time that I've made that connection. And I talk about Terminator 2 all the time.
Right, you should be on the Matrix train, bro. But okay, so that would be actually a good project.
Yeah.
So you can plan a vacation and, I want one agent to work on the flights, best flights, connection flights, cheap flights.
And that's his whole role.
That's your whole role. Optimize that.
Yeah.
Because another one, this time. Another agent work on the cuisines. I want
it's a food expert.
And can it make the booking, registration?
Purchase? So, or it could kick it over.
It can. Yeah. So that's one of the things now. One of the big jumps is now agents being able to tie into all of that, not just APIs, which is kind of being able to connect to other software systems, but using what's called MCP, which is actually almost acting like a human using the tool, which bypasses some of the things that were blocked when you could only get a certain amount of lines of code or output and input with the software. So now being able to go to a website and book it and use your credit card and has authorization to do all of these things becomes a lot more readily available. We're working on a project where we're using Claude and it's pushing all of the requirements up into Jira, which is the project management software. But whereas before I would have to maybe take that information and put it in myself, now it's already making all of these connections, and I'm saying, oh, well, I want you to change this and make some comments and ping the right people to make sure that they also look at it. It's able to kind of do all of that on its own by sending out agents to do all of these different jobs.
Okay, so you're sending out agents. You're working with multiple AIs. What's your favorite so far?
I'm going to say my favorite for specific things.
Oh, okay.
So
That's
okay,
true.
and actually,
That's
what I'll say is that ChatGPT 5 has supposedly kind of like squashed a lot of that. Like, if you're a power user, knowing which ones to use, but I still use
with its auto
ChatGPT.
mode,
Yeah, it kind of like knows what you want, I guess.
Yeah.
Which we won't go there, but I still think ChatGPT.
I think that's just in power mode, though, right?
No, now the new
Like
model.
it's deep search or
Yeah,
like
well,
shallow
it's-
search.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so
saying,
do you
like-
do you remember when you had to like select which model you
Right.
want to use? Now it knows based on what you asked. It'll auto pick kind of like based
You're
on
right.
the
It'll auto pick, and
Yeah.
it also has the ability to do both reasoning, like high level reasoning, as well as multimodal. So like being able to use video, audio, pictures, and things like that to kind of pull full context in. So I think ChatGPT, this newest version is really strong, and I use it for a lot of like kind of collaboration, building, ideating, things like that. For search, I still use Perplexity.
Okay.
Because I like the format, and I also like that if I take that, I can pull it into something like Notebook LM, which will turn it into a podcast for me. So that kind of helps me to like, ask the questions, to your point, ask the questions, and then still kind of get some sort of like audio download so that I can listen to it if I'm in the car,
Yep.
or, doing other things. So
Okay.
those
Yeah.
are my favorites right now.
Have you used Grok?
I have used Grok, but it's not as readily available as some of the other stuff.
Oh, okay.
So
What does that mean?
I've started with ChatGPT, so I
Yeah.
got used to it. So I think I use Claude more
Yeah.
for like writing. I think that it's able to understand tone better. So I
we're
use
talking about,
different
like-
things for different reasons.
Because we're talking about who's going to win, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like who's going to win is determining on a lot of culture and language.
Mm-hmm.
So my girls will always say, "Oh, I'll chat it." And I've noticed that the young people, Jayla's in the room, the young people say, "Oh, let's just chat that."
Oh, interesting. I didn't even know that's a new thing.
Whereas I always say, "I'm going to grok it."
Yeah.
So
I've never heard that.
Yeah, chat it? I've never heard
well,
it.
you don't hang around young people.
Yeah, I know.
You gotta get down.
I've never heard
Get
that
down
one.
with Grok.
The young person in the room said,
Yeah.
we don't say that.
Oh no, she's a little bit older.
That's why now she's older. She's our generation
She's
now.
too old.
Yeah.
Are you Gen X? Yeah.
We were talking earlier about how Perplexity is trying to buy Chrome. Like just recently in the news, they've said that they're supposedly set up to try to buy Chrome from Google.
Oh, because they have to divest.
Yeah.
Google have to
Oh,
divest.
right.
Yeah.
But
So they're gonna sell Chrome.
Yeah,
I'd
so-
sell that too.
I mean,
If I sold anything, Chrome. We will get rid of that one.
Yeah. Are we good? You can take Chrome.
but powering that with something like Perplexity now, because I feel like people are using it as like their answer engine, their search engine, I think creates a different dynamic in the way like they just launched their browser, but if they buy Chrome, I think that's a game changer for them. So they may actually come up even in. Plus, they use everybody else's model. That's the thing is like what model are people using? Because now you can use all of the AI tools and choose your model. So
Yeah.
and I don't know that people are paying attention to the difference.
I don't think most people care.
That's
I
fair.
think maybe in your world, it's like you
Yeah,
using
yeah,
it on
yeah.
the daily. But I
Yeah.
think generally people stick to one because you're not paying like 14 subscription fees.
Oh yeah,
Right.
some of these
Which
Max models are like
It's like
$200 a month. Yeah,
Yeah.
$300
Oh,
a month. It's
Oh,
crazy,
yeah.
but it is the jump up when you are using it like a power user. The
Oh,
jump
yeah.
up is insane.
Yeah.
Like it
No,
actually is
absolutely.
able to do so much. The
Oh, it's a
world,
huge advantage.
as they improve this and it gets cheaper and cheaper and cheaper to use, it's gonna be crazy how
Can you access it in
powerful.
every country?
Sorry?
Can you access these
Yeah,
models in every country?
Most
I
of
think
them.
some of them. Yeah, maybe some are
The main
geo-restricted, but
ones,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. How do you keep up with AI? I was talking to you about this. It feels like it's changing almost like daily at this point. A new model, a new version is
Yes.
releasing.
It is.
Like we've switched probably
Like, are
three
we still
times.
saying AI? Can we just move to SI soon, or like what?
Yeah,
what's
when
the-
it went.
how-
Yeah.
how
How
do
are you
know?
seeing it?
I
Yeah.
don't know. I should check with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are we doing?
Let's ask
I
chat.
think
We need a new chair right here.
Has an
Yeah.
episode with ChatGPT.
Let's chat that.
Wait. That's. We need to.
Need to
We're gonna do a
do
chat
that.
episode. Grok. We'll do Grok. It has a little more personality.
Grok.
Baby bold.
Yes.
Maybe both. I'm just gonna stay home and we'll have just 3 different models doing a podcast episode.
We haven't, have we? We should.
We should. That'd be
That'd
funny.
be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the question was.
Me either.
How do you keep up? How do you keep up? Everything's
Okay.
changing. Well, you're preaching this. You're getting people to, kind of adopt AI.
He does this at work. He just throws.
Yeah.
I literally am just I try a bunch of stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm constantly like looking at what new tools are out there, what tools are relevant. There are some podcasts also, like I try to listen kind of for different levels. Like the NVIDIA podcast is actually really good for like high level industry stuff. I listen to Hype Pod, of course.
Nice.
Of
course. Where would you get the latest in tech from? You live in the Hype
We're
Pod.
asking the question.
Yeah. Hey, what does AI mean exactly? This is where people come.
This is amazing. Happy to be your source of information.
I think there's a couple other ones. Lenny's newsletter is really good. Everyday AI, just stuff that like, because I feel like at different tiers, if you're looking at like industry wide versus like what's happening just like out in different parts of the world versus like how can I use this every day to try to build my business? How can I use this in my personal life and stuff like that? I think just right now I'm just trying to absorb every kind of level of that so that I can at least speak to it, and then just constantly using the tools.
Yeah. That's really important. You talked about get out there and use it. You have to get your hands dirty.
Yeah. You have to play with
Yeah.
it. And just and I think that's the other thing is like not being afraid. First, I guess not being afraid that it's going to take over the world.
Being aware of it.
Being aware of it.
Hey.
But I also this is a whole different reference, but I say you at some point somebody's gonna have to be John Connor. So if you're gonna be, you have to know at least
know
enough
your
to,
enemy.
Exactly. In the second movie, he programmed the robot to help him later. So like
T2 is the best.
Yes, it absolutely is. It's really the only one that counts. I feel like
it really does. Terminator 1's really.
It's really the only one.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But yeah, I think just going and like playing around with it, and also understanding like if you have the understanding that AI is going to accelerate your experience, then use your experience for the use case as to like what you're messing with. So like for me, I kind of mess around with a little bit of all of it, but my favorite tool right now has been Replit, which is an IDE, which is basically a programmer for you. So like you vibe code and you tell it, I want to build this, I want it to look like this, I want it to do all of these things, and then it codes it for you, it programs it for you, which has always been my personal wall. I've just never gotten past like the first couple of months of any programming language. But being able to build an app in a couple of hours that does things that I want it to do is really cool. N8N is another new one that's a lot of people are talking about. That's an agent, like an agentic workflow builder. So it kind of does all of the stuff where it has all the partnerships with all of these companies to be able to create agents that go and do stuff in those tools. To me, those are the two kind of big ones that I've been playing with recently. And really it's just getting into those, and they have 2-week trials. If you sign up for certain things, they'll give you a year for free. So I have a lot of like different year subscriptions on stuff. And then there's a lot of that I'm also just paying for because it's like the new like Netflix
subscriptions. You have every single video platform out there. But I think you touched on a really cool point, and I feel like if you take anything away from this podcast is that you should go try out these tools, because I think the future is going to be, if I have a need, I don't need to go to the app store and find like the app that kind of fits what I want. If you can ask AI to build it for you exactly with just human language. Like I need a timer that tracks, every lift that I do, but then also keeps track of how many I've done over the week. And instead of going and paying somebody that built it, AI can create a custom app for your use case. And so it's like, if you have an idea now, it's like you said, the barriers are down to get it there for your personal use case.
I actually think that's where devices are going. I think they're going to become like these black boxes where I talk to it and it starts to figure out like, okay, this is what I need. It creates an app for you. Like, I don't know that we're going to have like a lot of the big app movement that happened, back when iPhone first came out and stuff like that. I think that's going to shift where like the devices are really just going to be like, how strong, how much AI can you like pack into it so that it can actually start to create the things that you want it to do. So I say I want to it'll probably have basic stuff, but if I want something that like I want to watch these, I want to watch my favorite shows from Netflix and Prime and HBO Max or whatever. Like figuring out like, you have these subscriptions. I'm taking these subscriptions, pulling them all together, make your own personal. It'll be like a personalized like device that'll be so personalized that like all the apps will basically just like cater to you. I think is where it's going.
And it goes to the future that you want. You want AI, robotics,
No,
to
I
do all
want-
this stuff
yeah.
that you don't want to
I
do.
don't want an agent. I want an employee.
Yeah,
That's what I
exactly.
want,
Yeah.
Would you pay the employee?
No, definitely not. That's the advantage, is that they're making me money.
Right.
I'm not
Yeah.
paying them. They're paying me
Right.
for the pleasure
Yeah.
of working for me. But I think okay, so I think going back to the concerning side of things, I don't
Yep.
know why I'm never the
No,
concerned
it's good.
guy,
This is good.
But right now it seems like AI is growing at the pace of chip speed, energy availability. That's the restrictor and the limiter on superintelligence right now. What happens when we unlock that to unlimited potential? Or is there always a limitation, which is readily available chips, speed, processors, supercomputers, those kinds of things? Is that our limiter and our safeguard?
No, it's going to keep growing. It's like it's exponential at this point. We've hit, like they call it the banana zone, but like if you look at the way that this is growing, now you're using AI models to help you figure out how to solve those problems that were kind of unsolvable before.
Right.
And it's computing that so much faster. Now this cycle is just becoming much quicker. So now the exponential kind of growth of how much these models can do is insane. So like, it's like we say, like every week it feels like there's advancements on top of this. So the limitations that we see now are going to be gone in like a month, 2 months, in
That's
a
what
year.
I'm saying.
Yeah. So now we're going to get to that point where, like you're talking about artificial general intelligence, right?
And are people in your world scared to go on vacation in case you miss something in a week?
Absolutely.
People are like freaked out.
Yeah.
If I go on vacation, I'm going to miss.
Yeah, no, I think I
Some
need to learn
development.
how to start farming as well, because at some point, if it turns into the utopia that is there you have the apocalyptic
Yep.
view, but you also have the utopia. If it turns into the utopia, or if it turns into the apocalyptic zone, like learning how to do the natural things like plant and farm probably will be helpful.
Oh yeah, I know how to do that, guys.
I know how to do that.
That's my world.
I'm from Ohio. I don't know anything about
Yeah.
that, so I need to learn
Yeah.
that. But I can ask ChatGPT. So
But speaking of that utopian world, if we want to build it that way, the right people need to be behind it, right? Because like there's already, and I don't want to say the name of the tools because I don't want to promote it, but there are tools that do the exact opposite, right? There's a ChatGPT version that's purely out there to help you enhance your ability to fraud or scam people, and like those models exist, right? And so I think it's onus on us, the people that think, that know that they're doing the right things for the right reasons, to build out these things, to get in this space, to get there. Because this is the future. I mean, we all know it. This is the future. So it's just a matter of how do we impact that space, right? And so we're not going to get replaced by AI. We're going to get replaced by people that know how to use AI, right? And know how to use these tools. Or robots. But like, exactly. But like also the ones that know how to kind of do all these things.
Robots.
Yeah. So, I feel like maybe we'll just wrap it up there. we'll kind of not a doom and gloom kind of space, but it's a promising space.
I mean, I've had fun taking that role.
Yeah. You've shifted a little bit.
I shifted.
Did something happen? Should we this therapy session?
Pray for me.
A bad experience? No, but we'll fix it.
It was Grok in the car.
Yeah, when it told you that, you were
trying
wrong.
to speak Italian, and I had a fight with
You
it.
were like, I hate AI.
Stubborn. I hate you, AI. Your daughter loves it. I hate it. No, kidding.
Yeah. But thank you, Pastor Bobby, for joining us
Thanks,
on the
Pastor
Hype Pod.
Bobby.
Yeah.
What a treat.
And thank you for educating people on AI, because we weren't doing a good job before this.
Well, they came here for it.
They came here, and now they finally got educated.
Hey, Arun, we delivered.
Yeah, we did. We did it. 50 plus episodes in, they finally know AI. But if this is your first time, pass it along to the other person that wants to know more about AI. Share it, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode. Cheers, guys.